It has been 3 years since Sonic Frontiers changed everything. 3 whole years since Sonic went open zone. But here's the strange part. Most of the Sonic fanbase hasn't even noticed how much time has passed. We've been so distracted, so constantly fed with new content, that we forgot to look up and ask the obvious question. Where's the next mainline Sonic game? And honestly, that's exactly what Sega wanted. They kept us busy, and now they are about to hit us with something we are not ready for. The evidence is piling up, the interviews are dropping hints, and I'm about to tell you the exact date we'll see the review for the next mainline Sonic game. That's right, the very day it will be announced. It's actually in basically a few weeks, and if you watch the entire video, you'll agree with me too. In the future, if I'm wrong, come back to this video and feel free to roast me in the comments. Of course. This is Mr. Fascinating, and let's break down why Sonic Frontiers 2, or whatever they end up calling it, might be announced sooner than you think. November 2022, that's when Frontiers dropped and rewrote the rules for what a 3D Sonic game could be. The open zone concept worked, the combat felt satisfying, the story had emotional weight. It wasn't perfect, but it felt like Sonic Team finally understood the assignment after years of stumbling in the dark. Now it's 2025, and mathematically speaking, we should be starving. We should be saying, where's the next game every single day? We should be analyzing every Twitter interaction from the Sonic account like conspiracy theorists, but we are not. The fans are actually pretty chill right now, and that's fascinating because it reveals how much Sega has evolved their strategy. Think back to the drought after Sonic Lost Worlds in 2013. We waited 4 painful years for their next mainline game, and what we got was Forces in 2017. That era felt empty, desperate even. Then after Forces, another long wait stretched ahead of us until Frontiers in 2022. Those gaps hurt. The community got restless, but this time feels completely different. Sega learned something crucial. They figured out how to keep the Sonic brand alive and thriving between mainline releases, and they executed that plan flawlessly. Since Frontiers, we've been absolutely flooded. Sonic Superstars arrived in 2023, bringing classic-style gameplay back with a fresh coat of paint. Then came Sonic and Shadow Generations in 2024, which wasn't just a remaster, but basically a new game too. And just recently, Sonic Racing Crossroads launched, and it's also a major success. This isn't random, this is calculated. In an interview, Takashi Iizuka himself explained how Sonic Team now operates. They create a roadmap of titles and plan which games release in which years. They allocate development resources strategically. Iizuka specifically mentioned they strengthened the racing genre this year and are currently planning what comes next on the roadmap. That roadmap likely spans 3, 4, 5 years, maybe more. Let that sink in. Old Sega would throw games at the wall and hope something stuck. New Sega plans years in advance, maintains momentum, and keeps fans engaged while the real work happens behind the scenes. We've been so well fed that we forgot to notice we haven't had a proper mainline sequel yet. And that's genius, honestly. They bought themselves time without losing our attention. But here's where things get really interesting. The interviews from the past few months aren't just corporate talk, they're loaded with hints about what's actually cooking. When the BBC asked Iizuka about remaking Sonic Adventure, his answer told us way more than expected. For fans like me that love adventure, he shut down the remake idea immediately, not because he doesn't respect those games, but because Sonic Team has bigger priorities. He said something that should make every fan pay attention. Instead of spending time and energy remaking something people already experienced it, they want to create a brand new game that delivers a new experience to players. That's not something vague, they are actively thinking about it. Iizuka went further, talking about using modern technology to build richer, more complex, more interesting worlds. He didn't say someday we might do this. He said this is what the team is interested in doing right now. And then there's Morio Kishimoto. If you don't know, Kishimoto directed Sonic Frontiers. He's the guy who took all the criticism from Forces and turned it into something that actually worked. But look at the credits for Sonic Racing Crossroads. Kishimoto is now listed under studio management. That's right, Kishimoto got promoted, and that's a big deal. You know what that means? Kishimoto isn't working on one project anymore. He's overseeing the entire studio, the daily operations, the resource allocation, the big picture. When your store director moves from the field to the command center, it's because something massive is mobilizing, something that needs all hands on deck. Iizuka also mentions in a Polygon interview that they could keep supporting Crossroads for year 2, year 3, whatever the community wants. This shows not only how successful Crossroads was, but how far Sega now plans content for the Sonic franchise. Here's the thing, the next mainline Sonic game probably won't be called Sonic Frontiers 2. That's too simple, too safe, but spiritually, mechanically, it will be the successor. It has to be. Frontiers established the open zone formula, and Iizuka literally said they want to evolve into richer, more complex worlds. That's Frontiers 2 in everything but name. But the fear, the one thought that keeps me up at night, is that Sonic Team pose another Lost World situation. Remember that? Generations was incredible, super high quality, loved by everyone, and then they threw it all away to make Lost World, a totally different style that nobody asked for. It flopped. That decision set the franchise back years. They better not do that again. Frontiers worked, the foundation is solid, build on it, evolve it. Don't reinvent the wheel when the wheel is finally rolling smoothly. I have to believe they learned that lesson. The interview suggests they understand what worked. Iizuka talking about complex worlds, Kishimoto's promotion, the careful roadmap planning, it all points to a studio that's grown wiser and more focused. Because after all, mainline Sonic games take time, real time. Development cycles for these projects run between 3 and 5 years depending on the scope and ambition. Frontiers launched in November 2022. As of now, we are approaching the 3-year mark of that. By late 2026, it will be 4 years since Frontiers, and 2026 isn't just any year, it's the 35th anniversary of Sonic the Hedgehog. Come on, you know what that means. Sega loves anniversaries. Sonic Generations was the 20th anniversary game. Sonic Mania and Forces both dropped near the 25th. There is zero chance Sega lets the 35th anniversary pass without a major mainline release. The pieces fit too perfectly. A late 2026 launch would hit that 4-year development mark and align with the biggest marketing gimmick the franchise always uses. But if the game releases in late 2026, when does the marketing cycle begin? When do we get the first teaser, the first confirmation that it exists? That's where the pattern gets really fun to analyze. Sonic Frontiers wasn't revealed all of a sudden, it was announced properly, and where it happened matters. The Game Awards 2021. That's where we got the first teaser trailer. Just a glimpse, some serious footage, but enough to make us lose our minds speculating for months. It worked perfectly. The hype built naturally from that moment until launch, a year later. Fast forward to the Game Awards 2024. Again, that's where Sonic Racing Crossroads got its reveal. A teaser trailer just like Frontiers, and that was right after Shadow Generations had released in October. Sega didn't even wait for us to digest one game before teasing the next, which is exactly what may happen in a few weeks. They are moving fast now, and they are comfortable starting marketing cycles immediately after major releases. So let me put this together. The Game Awards, which is the biggest gaming event in the industry right now, is clearly Sega's main choice for Sonic announcements. They've done it twice now in the past few years. The next Game Awards happens on December 11th, 2025. If Sega wants a late 2026 release for the 35th anniversary, they need to start marketing soon, like very soon. And the perfect place to do that is the same stage where they revealed Frontiers. I'm calling it now, December 11th, 2025, the Game Awards. That's where we are getting a teaser for the next mainline Sonic game. Save this video, set a reminder. If I'm wrong, roast me in the comments, I'll take the L. But if I'm right, just know that we saw it coming, because Sega's patterns are too obvious once you start start paying attention. Whether the announcement happens at the Game Awards or during Summer Game Fest next year, which would also make sense since Shadow Generations got revealed there, one thing is certain: the next major Sonic game is closer than most fans realize. We've been living in this golden period of constant content, distracted by racing games and Shadow Spotlight and classic throwbacks, but the main event is being prepared behind the curtain, and it's almost time for the review. So mark your calendar, December 11th, 2025. Watch the Game Awards, and when that teaser drops, remember you heard it here first. We're about to step into the next chapter of Sonic's story, and honestly, I can't wait to see what they've been cooking all this time. While we wait, there is a new Sonic fan game that's getting a lot of attention. I actually played it, and I found it insane. Click the video that's appearing on screen right now to find out why this Sonic fan game is going viral.